Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Progressive Discussions. Yes, progressive. Because we want to specify just exactly what kind of discussions we discuss. And we happen to be, I don't know how many of us are left anymore that deal with the real hard-hitting truth, but we happen to be progressive liberals, which in my opinion is a hell of a lot closer to the God of the Bible and the teachings of the Bible than any other political system in the United States or perhaps the world. Progressive liberal approach to life. I'm not saying it's perfect, because God is not political, you know, and all politics is pathological, like my partner always says. But it's as close as you can get, as you can humanly get, in this wonderful materialistic world we're stuck in, is progressive liberal. So thus, progressive discussions. I believe this is discussions, I could be wrong, but I think it might be discussions show number 85, I think. But we're up there. You know, when we reach the anniversary show of 100, I'll think of a real special theme, something to do. Maybe I'll wear a special hat. But anyway, I am here at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in Lodi, New Jersey. I'm sorry, yeah, in Lodi, New Jersey. That's right, northeastern New Jersey, the land of Bada Bing, where Tony Soprano's famous club, strip club, Bada Bing's, is filmed, which in reality it's called Satin Dolls, and it happens to be on Route 17 South in Lodi, New Jersey. The actual authentic Bada Bing's. So it's the land of Bada Bing. Now, I am here with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, on Saturday, September 10th, 2011. And guess what happens to be tomorrow? Is it the 10th anniversary? A decade went by since the tragic September 11th terroristic attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and
took 10 years to get Bin Laden.
It took 10 years, yeah, right, to find and get Bin Laden. That's if Bin Laden was really found. And it also took 10 years to finally finish the 9/11 memorial, which happens to be absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I just want to salute with my blackthorn imported Irish shillelagh the people that built it and the architect that designed it. I was always a sucker for waterfalls, for fountains and moving water. It is very lucky feng shui to have moving water. Okay, excellent job on the 9/11 memorial. It's gorgeous. And I'm sure multitudes of tourists will stop there who go on vacation in New York City, as well as many others, many people, Americans and international visitors, immigrants and people on vacation will stop there. It will be a primary site. Now, there have been threats. They say it's unconfirmed threats from Al-Qaeda via Pakistan. I thought Pakistan was sort of an ally to the United States, but anyway, they say unconfirmed, but who knows? You know how the government is, according to what Jesse Ventura has taught us and Alex Jones. You know, when they say unconfirmed, it's probably confirmed. But anyway, I will not be in any way, shape, or form traveling to or from New York City this weekend, because all the bridges and tunnels, and I'm sure the traffic will be absolutely horrendous, horrible, out of necessity, because of the security, the accelerated security that will be taking place out of necessity, because New York City is a target. Okay, but it used to be called the Freedom Tower. Now they call it something else. It's being built at a very rapid pace, and it is going to be over, I don't know, was it 1,700 feet or 1,700 stories, or
I have no idea.
Nevertheless,
No idea.
it's supposed to be the world's tallest office building, and it is designed to be able to withstand a direct impact of a very large airliner that is loaded with fuel. It is built very strongly.
So should have the other towers,
True.
but they were blown up.
What was blown up?
The two towers. The planes didn't bring them down.
Well, they were. Yeah, that's true. That's
They
true.
found thermite in every bit of dust.
Thermite,
Yeah.
which
Explosives.
proves the theory of an explosion coming from below.
Within. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Within, but
There are thousands of scientists that have
yeah.
logged on stating that that is what occurred.
Well, it should be exciting to see one of the world's tallest buildings. I assume if it's going to be the world's tallest office building, it will be one of the world's tallest buildings once again in the New York City skyline. Okay. Now, I want to say something to all you people out there. I had a big argument with a family member before I got here. Actually, I cut myself shaving, and I hope it's not showing on video, and I hope my voice doesn't sound bad, because I had a big argument with somebody. And I want to summarize this story to all you people out there that have talent, exceptional talent, or specific dreams in your life. If you have relatives, friends, close friends, or a significant other that continues to put you down and tear down your dream and try to sabotage your dream, telling you that you're wasting your time, why do you do what you do, don't even bother. These people are petty. These people have no lives. These people are frustrated. They have no talent, most likely, and they're trying to sabotage you. They call that sour grapes, right? If they know they cannot attain something, they don't want to see you attain something. So they try to put you down and discourage you. And, well, I stood fast. I defended myself, and I ended up in a big argument. So you people out there that have this thorn in your side, you need to get rid of it. If your significant other is sabotaging your dreams, you need to nip the problem in the bud right away and continue pursuing your dreams. Sometimes you got to break a few eggs in life to make an omelet. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always a diplomatic way that you need to solve your problem. Sometimes keeping your composure, and which is not a nice thing to do, but sometimes it's difficult. But sometimes you have to surgically remove the tumor if it's too late, if it's too far gone. So, anyway, speaking of that, let us go directly to the recent national speech by President of the United States, Barack Obama, concerning the economy, right, and jobs. I thought he should have gotten tough a long time ago. He was surprisingly and pleasantly very demonstrative in his speech. He grew a backbone. Okay, he grew a set of balls, and he got a little tough with the situation. He told it like it is, and he said he will continue this hard line, hard-ass type of speech. Truth, cold, hard-hitting truth, well, for the most part, not completely, but he will continue this method of speaking to the American people in different locations in the country, which I was glad to hear. I thought he should have been tougher with the conservatives and the Republicans concerning taxing the rich. Now, the title of this week's progressive discussions will most likely be Just Say No to the Fat Cats. Tax the rich. Now, the real problem is not liberal Democrats, you deluded idiot Tea Party lemmings, you middle-class lemmings out there that voted for a Republican Congress against your best interests last November. The real problem is the conservatives, the Republican hero, the superhero of Republicans, Ronald Reagan, the demon Reagan, is the one who switched and shifted the tax burden from the rich to the middle class and the poor. It is not the so-called spending of the liberal Democrats, because we do not have necessarily a spending problem. In reality, we have a lack of revenue problem, and the lack of revenue comes from the rich not paying their corporations, the elitists not paying their fair share in taxes for many, many years, possibly 30 years, for at least 30 years, not paying their fair share. But
you can't call it a fair share
if they're not
when Clinton only raises it from 35% to 39%.
Well,
that's not getting back their fair share.
Well, a fair share means that.
But it did do good.
A fair share means that the rich are paying something. But in the case of, let's say, General Electric, who supposedly paid nothing, I wouldn't call that.
And
ExxonMobil, I wouldn't call that a fair share. I call that despicable.
Well, they only pay like 9% if they pay these days compared to what they used to pay in the past. That's my point.
Yeah.
42% of all the money that comes in to the revenue of the country is in the form of federal taxes, income taxes. Next 40% is from payroll taxes, FICA, Social Security, and 9% is from corporations. So the poor, the workers, are paying almost as much as those that pay federal income taxes, which are people who make
so?
Yeah. So
it's really, you know what? Obviously, the two-party system, career politicians don't really care, and they're not interested in being fair, and they have no compassion because they're completely selfish and greedy, because they're in bed with the fat cats who contribute to their campaigns and grease their palms. So evidently they don't care. The middle class, the average American, is still brainwashed to believe that you need to vote for a career politician of the two-party system in order for somebody to be competent enough to hold office, either as a mayor, a governor, congressman, senator, or president. They're still brainwashed to believe that. And that's why they do not get behind a good progressive independent, which is what they should do. Now, speaking of progressive independence, my partner and mentor, who is the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, the founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977, that is newslettercensored.com. He's running for president once again. He has thrown in his
cowboy
hat, and he is running once again. Now, he ran twice before.
1980 and 2010.
In 2010. And he's running once again. And he just...
2008, excuse me.
2008.
2008.
1980, 2008, and this year, 2011. Now...
Well, 2012.
For 2012. Now, this is a different campaign because it is not based on money, moolah, because we need to take money out of politics, which is the way to take politics out of politics. His campaign is a write-in campaign, and if you want to support our work, just simply subscribe to Newsletter Censored. I apologize for the assholes in the neighborhood that may cause that vehicle to beep. Okay, there are many people that are in the end times that are regressing, like the famous New York City talk show host and lawyer Lionel has said, a de-evolution of modern society is taking place. That is the reason for for all the
I don't think it's a de-evolution.
chaos.
I don't think it's a de-evolution. I don't think they ever evolved. In other words,
Well, he showed pictures of gangs of young females beating up a certain women, girls in school, and the violence of young. Before girls used to be sugar and spice and everything nice. Now they're nothing but garbage and lice. Cute, huh?
Well,
I just made that up.
That's the
Woo!
That's the lack of empathy.
Timothy.
That's correct.
In the end times, the human race will start to grow colder and colder with less compassion. Right? All the negative aspects, the sinful
we certainly
aspects.
see that in Washington, don't we?
Absolutely.
And with this financial meltdown, we certainly see it.
Yeah, well, the end times are here, and not the Great Tribulation, but the end times, and you can listen to the God Project, by the way, and find out what the Bible really has to say every Sunday from our hard-hitting Mega Life 21 Internet Talk radio station, and you can find the link at the top of newslettercensored.com, and you can hear the God Project by my co-host and mentor, Dr. Bill. Every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we often start earlier and end later to get the message across. We do go overtime quite often. And,
as an aside, I had a little to-do with a young lady last night.
A to-do?
Yes, a little to-do. She mentioned something about, we were talking about angels.
No, don't tell me she believed in the chubby-cheeked, cherubic, curly-haired, cutie pie angels.
A little more mature than that. She believed that angels had sex.
Well, she's a horny, perverted woman.
Well,
huh? She's got a sex drive. She still wants to screw after she passes away and goes to the afterlife.
Well, angels, that she did. But anyway, when I corrected her...
Why would angels have sex if they're spiritual beings?
When I corrected her, she sort of, to put it mildly, tried to censor me.
Oh, really? Oh, she sounds like a conservative, Republican.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
I'll censor her with me shillelagh.
But I certainly did not allow that. I made the correction and stood by it.
Well,
angels do not have sex.
Well, the good thing is that the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, if need be, will go right to Scripture.
That's correct.
To prove his point. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. Thessalonians. How do you like them apples? All right. You know what?
Them apples.
Them apples.
Hey, it is apple season.
That's true. Yeah. Autumn is coming close. Well, right now we've been having some Indian summer. You know, hi-ya, 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 hi-ya. Indian summer.
I'm an Indian outlaw. Half Cherokee and Choctaw. My baby, she's a Chippewa. She's a one of a kind.
See, he also loves country western.
Tim McGraw.
Who's that other man that has a nice deep voice?
Josh Turner.
No, Morgan. What's his name?
Morgan.
Something Morgan.
Oh, Craig Morgan. That's not a low voice.
No, he's got a deep, like baritone-ish voice.
No way.
He doesn't?
Turner.
Craig Morgan? Oh.
No, Craig Morgan. He can hit the high note. Craig Morgan.
Yeah. Well, my partner would like to, say hi to Carl Richards, award-winning Carl Richards of the show.
Keep Country Alive!
No, that's Keep Hope Alive. That's Reverend Jesse Jackson. Keep Country Strong.
Oh, Keep Country
Or
Strong.
Keeping. I think it's Keeping Country Strong. Time Warner Cable TV Channel 23. Keeping Country Strong. Which I have been on twice so far, with different talent like the Renaissance Man Can Create and the King of Lucha Libre, Frankie Flo. So check it out. It's on the internet, and as well as Time Warner Cable. And I believe we might be returning. We are booked to be back on the show November 3rd, I believe, 2011. So we look forward to seeing you then. I'm not sure who I'm bringing on, but we will try our best to bring on more talent. Now, yeah, back to the Obama speech. He should really, if he wants to really get tough, right before the 2012 campaign. It's funny how they wait for the campaign season before they start to get tough, before the tough get going, whatever goings to get tough. He should come clean, man, and just say it. Say that the tax burden was shifted by the Republicans, and the reason why the middle class are paying the burden of taxation is because of the Republicans, of your Tea Party heroes, and the backbone of the country has always been the middle class, the entrepreneur, the mom and pop stores, the small business owners, and those people are being destroyed, strangled. But you know what's funny, Dr. Bill? Despite the real truth that Obama did not really come clean with 100%, even though I did admire his toughness, and the point is that there are people out there who are not wealthy, who are middle class to lower middle class, that are, I guess, lucky enough to still have their homes and their income. They will still fight you tooth and nail and defend the Republican Party and the Tea Party and all this crap. And
of course, because they're deceived. Revelation 12:9. The devil has influenced them. He was here. Satan was here last week in our interview.
Well, he admitted.
He said how he influences these people. So obviously, you cannot get through to them.
All are what does it say? All are deceived in the Bible?
Yeah, Revelation 12:9. The whole world is deceived.
The whole world is deceived, and
the only ones not deceived are the elect.
And these people, there are people out there that will vote Republican only because of their ideology and their religious,
the social issues,
nuttiness, so to speak. They're zealot. Like speaking of zealots, the Mr. Little Dicky Perry of Texas, Scary Richard Perry, which is not to be confused with Perry White from the Superman series. He's a religious nut like Christine the witch, the slutty witch, O'Donnell, and Bachman is another religious nut.
Absolutely.
Oh, they know the Bible. Well, let me tell.
They don't know the Bible, but they're religious nuts.
They claim to know the Bible, but my one question before Dr. Bill goes to the recent articles, my one question is: you think you're real Christians? You think you're closer to God than us progressive liberals? You think you have a bat phone to God? Then if you do, then why do you insist on ending every single social program to help the poor and the middle class?
Because
why do you have no compassion? Why do you want to cut every social program? Why do you want to even close soup kitchens and food pantries where the Bible is chock full of verses that tell the rich to give to the poor and to help the poor? So how isn't it a contradiction? Isn't it hypocrisy?
Yes, it is. But Scary Perry said that Social Security and programs like that make us weak.
But there's nothing else. There's no jobs. There's no jobs. The economy is worse than in the crapper.
Well, they make us weak, he said.
Well, what are you going to do? Live in a wigwam and a teepee and live in a treehouse?
Since he has had government jobs practically all of his life, I wonder if they've made him weak.
I think living off the fat of the land like all these elitists have been, living the high life, being financially independent and being able to afford everything they ever wanted, including the best health insurance that they can pay for, but they don't because they get it for free off the taxation of the middle class. They get their retirement is paid for. The best health care is paid for. Welfare. Welfare for the little guy is bad to you Republicans, but welfare for the rich, that's good. All right, Wall Street bailouts is good. Having you people in Washington and the governors like Chris Christie make $175,000 a year with free health care and free retirement. Oh, that's okay. That kind of welfare is okay.
Yeah. And that kind of laziness on the part of the rich is okay.
Oh yeah,
but it's a big thing, you know, for someone on welfare or food stamps or something. They'll call attention right away to laziness there. By the way, I think the top rate under food stamps right now for a family of 4 is $660 some a month. Now, if you divide 30 days into that, or whatever, you get close to $4.91 or so. You know, don't go holding my figures to that they're absolutely correct. I'm just looking at it as an approximation. Anyway, it's like $4 and something a day. Now, what the hell can you feed 4 people a day for $4.60 or 91 cents?
Can't even feed.
What?
Can't even.
It's not even a latte.
You can't even feed probably mini-me. You can't even feed me. I'm a big eater. Yeah, what is that? What is that going to do? It's almost like the programs are designed to fail.
They are. They are.
Even Medicaid. You know how many doctors in private practice refuse to accept state Medicaid program, and you have to end up going to outpatient clinic in a hospital or the emergency room and to use your Medicaid card, or you have to go to some low-income medical center like in a 24, like, you know, they got these urgent care places where the doors are always open to you. But, you know, but the funny thing is you go there and you show them that you're poor, you get to see a doctor.
Then the door is closed.
Oh, wait a minute. Listen carefully. This is how wonderful you conservative Republican American healthcare system is. If you're poor and you go to one of these clinics with a sliding scale income system of taking care of the poor, and they accept Medicaid and such, if you go there, what happens is you see the doctor, who is usually a doctor of internal medicine. You see the physician, and then the physician says, well, you need a blood test and or x-ray. Guess what? They won't take your blood and send it out there. You have to go to another clinic to get your blood drawn, or to the hospital. Then you have to pay out of pocket for your blood test or x-ray. And then if you go to the hospital, you got to apply for charity care, and charity care does not, it might pay for the blood test, but it doesn't pay for the so-called expert on-site physician to read. You need somebody to read the blood test before it gets sent to your doctor.
All the other advanced
you have to pay for that.
All the other advanced nations have solved all those problems.
The lab per people.
With a universal healthcare system. See, but that's
now if you're
tantamount to garbage in the United States.
If you're poor,
richest country in the world.
If you're poor and you can't afford, and you don't have insurance, and you can't afford the doctor, how the hell are you going to afford to pay the fee to the expert or whatever the hell they are at the hospital or at the blood lab? How are you going to afford to pay the fee to have somebody read your results before it goes to the physician at the clinic, at the low-income clinic? How are you going to afford to pay for the x-ray?
One of those contradictions.
How? Republicans, what is the answer? What is the solution, Republican Party? What solution do you have for the poor?
Die.
These programs don't work. Where was that again?
Die.
They want the poor to die. So therefore, the poor and the middle class need to take on torches and pitchforks.
Well, yeah, it's coming to that.
What can I say?
There is a point. You're seeing it around the world right now. there is a point that when it's reached, right now we have somewhere around 25 million people unemployed in the United States out of a working population of maybe 165 million or more than that. So, the tipping point is coming.
Yeah. And I think a lot of military personnel, like National Guard people and such, they should commit mutiny against the establishment that employs them, pays them very little to hassle and hurt the very communities that they themselves come from. Okay, I think that's the case. Now also, conservative Republicans are very anti-immigration, except if they need somebody to landscape their mansions, clean their pools, clean their homes, like maids and such, cook their meals for their lazy ass. Oh, then they love illegal immigration because these people work probably for less than minimum wage with no benefits. See, it's all about hypocrisy here with the counterfeit Christians of the right-wing fundamentalist
it's all about
Republican Party.
It's all about one of the contradictions that Karl Marx called attention to in the capitalistic system.
Oh, Karl Marx said some of them? Really?
Which is that the employer employs you for, let's just say, $20 an hour.
Not bad.
Okay?
Not bad.
Well, an employer is not going to employ you for $20 an hour if he cannot get more than $20 an hour out of you. So in other words, when you go to work for any employer, he is not starting out. It is one of the tenets of the capitalistic system. He is not paying you what you're worth. Now, in so saying that,
you're talking about the profit of the capitalist system.
Yes, you must produce more than he pays you for him.
So even when the salaries are quote-unquote supposedly good, starting salaries, you are never going to be paid what you're really worth.
No. That is one of the inherent contradictions of capitalism.
That's why
it goes on to what Henry Ford said. When Henry Ford, the largest salaries in the industry. If I don't pay these people enough, they won't be able to buy my products.
True.
So, if employers are always seeking to employ employees at wages that are always below their worth, they cannot buy his products.
True.
So you see the self-destructiveness that's inherent within capitalism.
True. That's why we need unions in America to.
Well, that's why unions, came into being.
To buffer and counter the greed of the business owners of the corporations.
But that still does not. Does not rid the system of that inherent problem of that you will never, working for someone else, be paid what you are worth. See?
And
by the way,
in the world tomorrow.
By the way, Karl Marx never said anything about communism, and he was not a communist. His whole Das Kapital and etc. Were critiques of the capitalistic system.
Which is what progressive liberals commonly do.
Yes, but most people, and conservatives and etc., they believe that Karl Marx was a communist.
No.
Not so.
That's why they keep on using the word Marxism. Marxism.
Yeah.
No, he sounds like a very fair man, the writings of Karl Marx.
He was.
Sounds very fair to me.
But those writings, my friends, are suppressed in our colleges, etc.
Because of the plutocratic, the corporate plutocracy that conservatives, Republicans want. They want to
worship at the feet.
The bottom line is their only ambition, their only goal is money, money, and more money. The greed goes on forever. It is idolatry. It is idol worship. It is one of the first sins. Money, the love of money, and that this is their goal: money, power.
And it certainly should not be being committed by those calling themselves Christians.
They're phonies. They're counterfeit Christians. They want to enslave you. First, they get rid of the minimum wage. And they do other things like take away your ability to take nutritional supplementation to stay healthy. They don't want optimal health. They want you to get sick all the time so you can probably... See, this is the funny thing. There's no jobs. The economy is shit. So how are you going to pay for doctor bills while you're sick from eating the toxins sold in supermarkets that the big food companies want you to eat? So it's like a big revolving door. It's like you can't afford to. In other words, how is the average American who will become poor eventually? Everybody will, except the rich. How are they going to buy the goods and services and products produced by the elitists, the fat cats, if they don't have a job and then they eventually lose their homes? Blah 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 blah. How are they gonna? How do you? It's almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot.
That's exactly what they're doing.
It doesn't make sense.
It's a self-destructive system.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. And who, harking back to last week, is the father of such a system?
Satan?
Thank you.
Well, see, you're not going to hear this from a revered expert economist like, what's his name, Steve Ortobato?
He's an economist?
I don't know. What the hell is he?
I don't know.
Every time they want to...
I thought he was a journalist.
Yeah, every time here in New Jersey, the local New Jersey News wants a political opinion of some sort, they always go to him. Look, I don't know what the hell he is. But you never hear the economists come clean. Actually, Barack Obama, out of respect for his party and his voters, should be talking about this on primetime TV.
Yeah.
This is what's really going on, folks. This is the real hard-hitting truth that you're hearing from us, via the internet, or whether it be livestream.com, which we're very proud of. Salute to Livestream, or YouTube, or whatever. Anyway, first article.
Before I get on to Mr. Obama that you're talking about here,
Right.
this is a very interesting concept. A handful of people can wreak great destruction in a short period of time. This is
Yeah.
a question, by the way.
Okay.
Could the opposite happen? Could a few people perform as powerful a good act so quickly? This is the answer.
Yes.
Medical science often performs master strokes that would have astonished people of earlier eras. But as we now take progress for granted, these great deeds lack the capacity to shock. Take the polio vaccine. Once it was approved, doctors were suddenly able to save thousands of people from a terrible fate simply by administering an injection. It is far harder to create than to destroy. That's why the builders of our world are the ones honored by history. Do you realize that today, the only polio that occurs in the United States is from the vaccine?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, some vaccines, I assume, are extremely vital, like smallpox, right?
They may be vital and they may not be vital, but they are contaminated. All of them.
Yeah, well, I notice this time of
And
year...
the polio one was contaminated with monkey
Oh, gee, isn't that where the
because
Ebola?
they were grown in monkey kidneys.
Isn't that where the Ebola virus comes from? Monkeys.
Well, probably, but
Speaking of vaccines, before you know it, we will start to see big signs in front of nationwide pharmacies like Walgreens
Yeah.
pushing the influenza vaccine, literally pushing it like a retail product on primetime TV, pushing it. Big signs, trying to scare the American consumer into getting the flu vaccine, just like my relatives are trying to frighten my mother into, these are the drug-pushing American healthcare medical doctor ass-kissing relatives I have that will not listen, and they don't believe in natural alternative treatment.
or boosting your immune
Or
system.
boosting your immune system naturally, or vitamins and minerals and herbs and whatever.
Eating properly.
Eating properly. Oh no, they believe completely in what the FDA tells them, the AMA, whatever, and blah blah blah, what their family drug pushing doctor tells them, and they try to frighten my mother into getting the flu vaccine last year, and my mother refused because she read all the side effects and the negative aspects of getting the vaccine. But of course, companies like Walgreens are pushing it.
They should go to see, I don't know if it's available yet, but I know that Gary Null has done a documentary
Absolutely.
called Vaccine Nation.
Yes, he has. It's up there.
It's up there now, you can see it?
Oh, yeah.
If it is, then everyone should go and see it.
Google Gary Null's videos, Dr. Gary Null, one of our mentors. Google his videos on all vaccines and watch them all. And you will really be shocked. Be amazed.
You'll be amazed.
It's all about greed, man, at the expense of human beings. It's there are many effective ways to conquer illness and infections through naturally boosting your immune system. Whether it be beta-glucans, which is an extract from fungi, barley from grains, barley, oats, the beer industry, brewer's yeast, mushrooms like maitake, shiitake, reishi, cordyceps, the Asian oriental mushrooms, and detox. Even detox alone will boost your immune system tremendously.
Because it allows your intestines to work properly. Getting rid of all the junk.
Right. And establishing with proper probiotics, the natural flora. And that's not to mention vitamins, like mega doses of vitamin C. Vitamin A, vitamin C.
Yeah.
Okay. Selenium, E. Optimal, like the late great Carlton Fredericks used to say, shoot the works, everybody. Shoot the works. Except with the drugs. Shoot the works. Okay, now, next.
The White House launched a full court press Friday to rally public support behind President Obama's new jobs plan, dispatching the president to the backyard of one of his staunchest Republican foes and flooding reporters with emails praising the plan from mayors, governors, lawmakers, and union and business leaders. On Capitol Hill, civility mostly reigned. Members of Congress suggested there is room for common ground, even as some Republicans cautioned that they had not seen the details of a bill they suggested is as much about saving Obama's job as anyone else's.
I'm not urinating, people. I'm pouring my tea. Go ahead.
Fresh from urging Congress to pass the bill, a phrase he uttered 17 times in a 33-minute speech Thursday, Obama pressed the crowd for help at a college rally, saying he wanted them to call, email, tweet, fax, Facebook, or send a carrier pigeon to members of Congress, urging them to back his $447 billion package. I want you to tell your congressperson the time for gridlock and games is over, he told an enthusiastic crowd of 8,900 at the University of Richmond. The time for action is now. The University of Richmond sits squarely in the congressional district of House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, one of his chief GOP sparring partners. And by the way, we did change the GOP from the
Grand Old Party,
the Grand Old Party to
the Greedy
Old Party.
The Greedy Old Party.
Thank you.
Very apple lickable.
Thank you. The Virginia Republican,
Yeah.
who held his own jobs event later Friday in his district. Hopefully, we can work together and create an environment for jobs, Cantor told CBS's early show.
It's not Eddie Cantor from the old days, right? The bulging eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, he is funny when he speaks, with his ideas. Yeah, it's very funny. There's been a lot of rancor and difference in Washington. I think now the country is really ready for us to set aside these differences and try to build a consensus.
Yeah.
Obama, criticized by some allies for not negotiating more firmly with Republicans over lifting the federal debt ceiling earlier this summer,
That's true.
welcomed Cantor's warm tone, telling the crowd that, to their credit, I was glad to hear some Republicans, including your congressman, say that they see room for us to work together. Now, this, of course, is
There we go. Work together.
This is just going to give Obama more ammunition to seek bipartisanship.
Work together. All right, listen.
It hasn't worked from till now.
Listen, normally I send a direct message to conservatives and conservative Republicans, but I'm sending a message to Democrats. If you happen to be moderate, or you happen to be claim that you're liberal or progressive liberal, whatever you are, listen to me. Why must you continue with the flaw that undermines your own party and causes your own party to lose debates and lose elections? Why must you get along? Why must you have bipartisanship? Why must you have compromise? If the opposition has no wish to compromise with you, you think conservative Republicans want to compromise and have bipartisanship? Of course not. They tell you flat out. So why must you continue to seek this compromise? Why do you need to be liked by the Republicans? Why? Why is this happening? Why? Is this a psychological flaw? Or is it perhaps the fact that the fat cats, the corporations, are paying you Democrats off too? What is the reason for you people, when you happen to watch this video? Please, send us an email. Enlighten us. Continue.
Good idea. Recent polls have shown growing disillusionment with Obama,
Yeah.
even among his base supporters. And some of them at the school said they were heartened by the feisty tone of his speech before Congress. He really wanted to exert leadership in ways we hadn't seen in a while. He struck a middle-of-the-road stance, but he was forceful. It was good to see him fighting back a little bit.
Yeah.
In Washington, members of Congress were conciliatory in tone, but there was little support from Republicans, who control the House of Representatives and have 47 of the 100 Senate seats. Many said they weren't yet sure exactly what Obama is promising. It's impossible to say how the Speaker feels about the jobs bill until we see the bill.
Well, I saw his face during the speech. The Weeper of the House, you mean? He wasn't clapping and smiling very much. You know what? Screw them. Screw them.
Lawmakers had lots of questions. How will Obama pay for his plan? Would his plan somehow be attached to work of the bipartisan 12-member congressional supercommittee?
The rich, they should pay for it. The rich.
Yeah, it's very simple, isn't it?
Simple math.
Yeah.
Like he said simple math in the speech some some point.
The Super Committee has until November 23rd to recommend at least $1.2 trillion over 10 years in deficit reductions.
Yeah. Are you finished with that article? Okay, we need to take a break because it is time for the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman's gastronomic delight known as lunch, followed by high green tea. So we're going to be back with the promo.
More scintillating stuff.
Invigorating stuff. We're back. While my partner, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, is partaking in his gastronomic delight, lunch, I might as well do promo. This gentleman right next to me, see this guy right here? This is a self-portrait of my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. This is a fine watercolor painting done by him because he is a fine watercolor artist. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to newslettercensored.com or going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile and check it out. And hopefully your album on Facebook is viewable by the public and is allowed, because you have to select that function of making it public, like I have selected my photo gallery as being public on the Megalife 21
I don't know.
Facebook profile. We have a Megalife 21 hyphen newsletter censored Facebook profile for promoting our agenda, and that is public. It is just go to Facebook and type in Megalife 21 hyphen newsletter space censored, newsletter censored, and it is a complete promo page of our fine organization, viewable to the public. Now, hopefully Dr. Bill has made it public, but I go through
whatever it was when it was in the beginning, that's what it is now.
I don't know. It might not be public. I go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and I make sure that nothing is left undone. And professionalism at all times. If the public can't see your friggin' work, how the hell are they going to buy your work? Okay? Ipso facto ergo. It's common sense, which is what we're lacking today in America. Anyway, if you like one of Dr. Bill's paintings, his fine watercolor paintings, send him an email over at newslettercensored.com. Ask him if it's still available, and if the painting is still available, it can be purchased. The bidding starts at $500, but they are authentic, one-of-a-kind watercolor paintings that are signed by William J. Eisenman. Okay, now, this is the backbone of our organization. I say this every week because it's the backbone of our organization. It's very important. See right here, Newsletter Censored, founded in 1977 by William J. Eisenman, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. It contains the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. You're never going to hear or read anything like this in the mainstream media, okay? It is the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? Okay, and here's a sample of the last article, volume number 116, This Country Was Never a Christian Nation, by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D., okay? Sometimes we have tidbits, which is based on current news topics, more or less, or editorial comments by certain people. Certain people like Once in a Blue Moon, Michael J. Talmo, or Shel Monroe, Once in a Blue Moon, or something by yourself is in tidbits. Or it could be me. One time I did an article on Health Talk, because I do Health Talk every Saturday on the radio station, which is on right now, by the way. Then we have The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, Okay, William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, and this is what the Bible really has to say, not what right-wing fundamentalists, counterfeit Christians tell you what the Bible says. This is what the Bible really has to say. Okay, the God Project, which can be heard, in this case, it is the sin of Job, in this article, which can be heard every Sunday on the Mega Life 21 hard-hitting internet talk radio station, every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Then, last but not least, as a bonus, we have or a boner in this case. We have Sexuality. No pun intended. Sexuality: A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D., which is very, very hard-hitting, or should I say, hard-pounding. The shillelagh? No, seriously, all kidding aside, it's very serious educational information. Hard-hitting information that you're not going to hear anywhere in today's mainstream media or the press. So that is promo, and then I want to say one last thing after I make myself a little useful here. All right. Now, the last part of promo is that, God willing, if nothing goes wrong, yours truly, James Piranha Madonna, will be debuting in the first Time Warner cable TV professional wrestling TV taping this October 1st, 2011 at the Wallkill, I believe, Regional High School in Hamburg, New Jersey. This is where we will be making our debut pilot of the first Time Warner Cable Pro Wrestling TV taping, and I will be doing color commentary along with my co-host, the distinguished and established Time Warner broadcaster, Mr. Irwin Benz of Benzie Promotions. He's on the internet. Mr. Irwin Benz wears elaborate Hawaiian shirts. That's his gimmick. And we will be doing the TV taping of D2W Pro Wrestling. That's D2WProWrestling.com. And the show that we had in Wharton, New Jersey is on the internet now. Time Warner did not film it. Mega Life 21 filmed it. So, of course, it will be a lot better when Time Warner does it, because there will be an extra camera pointing towards yours truly, James Piranha Madonna and Irwin Benz. Okay, now, back to the articles.
A growing divide over Social Security splits the two leading contenders for the Republican presidential nomination, and the differences between Texas Governor Rick Perry and former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney foreshadow a tricky political dance with older voters. Romney has seized on what he perceives as Perry's vulnerability on a program that seniors hold dear. Democrats venerate as sacrosanct, and Perry has labeled a Ponzi scheme.
Wow.
The issue sets up a battle for older voters in Iowa, retirees in Florida and the Sun Belt, and baby boomers across the country who are worried about their own recession-scarred retirement plans. Perry will not retreat from his criticism of Social Security. He says it's best left to states to administer a non-starter for many, including some Republicans. If we nominate someone who the Democrats could correctly characterize as being against Social Security, we would be obliterated as a party, Romney said on Sean Hannity's radio program on Thursday. Perry is unyielding. It is a Ponzi scheme to tell our kids that are 25 or 30 years old today, you're paying into a program that's going to be there. Anybody that's for the status quo with Social Security today is involved with a monstrous lie to our kids, and it's not right.
Social Security will be there if you leave it alone. If you don't fuck with
that
it,
party left out.
if you don't sabotage it, a little Dickie Perry of Texas, if you do not sabotage Social Security and you leave it alone, it will be there.
It's been there for 70 years.
Now, why aren't the Democrats coming back with that gem? Why do they need James Parana Madonna and Dr. Bill to tell them this? They should be defending Social Security over in Washington.
The Romney-Perry divide comes as the contest for the Republican nomination begins to flare. With 3 formal debates and a handful of forums this month, the campaign to challenge President Obama has taken on urgency as voters return from their summer vacations and start to pay attention to politics. Since Perry joined the race last month, Romney has seen his lead fade, driving him to focus his aggressive criticism on Perry instead of looking ahead to a general campaign against Obama.
Perry's the liar, Perry.
The governor says, look, states ought to be able to opt out of Social Security. Our nominee has to be someone who isn't committed to abolishing Social Security, but who is committed to saving Social Security, Romney said.
Oh, a state run by a Republican governor is really
a Republican governor who wants to secede from the Union.
A Republican governor, if you're low income or poor or homeless or you're middle class about to lose your home and you got laid off from your job, you don't want to live in a state run by a Republican administration, like here in New Jersey with Chris Christie. You might as well just drop dead. There's not going to be any social programs. They don't even want a lousy food pantry to be in existence.
And somebody should clue Scary Perry in that the question of secession has already been decided. It was called the Civil War.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about a right-wing fundamentalist nut, a religious nut, a zealot. You're talking about people that are not in their right mind when you're talking about some of these right-wing fundamentalist Republicans. They're not in their right mind. Your Michelle Bachmans and your Sarah Palins and your Christine O'Donnells and your Richard Perrys. They're not in the right mind. Just like that nut that burned the Koran. That was he, a Baptist minister in Florida?
Yeah.
The goofball that looks like a basset hound.
Yeah.
That time he barbecued
Mustachio, with the big mustache.
with the handlebar mustache. He went ahead and burned the Quran, not even caring about who he offended or retaliation.
A poll in May found that 70% of Americans consider Social Security deeply important to their financial security in retirement.
Damn right.
Just 6% said it was not at all important.
Give me a
Yet
break.
the public is split on the likelihood Social Security will be there for them. 35% say it is extremely or very likely to provide income their entire retirement. 30% somewhat likely, and 35% not too likely, or not at all likely, to be there. It's that uncertainty that both campaigns hope to tap. Romney now trails Perry by double digits in the polls, and Social Security alone isn't going to help him regain his lead. But his team plans to make it the opening volley against Scary Perry, Texas's longest-serving governor, and one who has never lost an election. Now, if you say Social Security is a failure, as I have just done, you will inherit the wind of political scorn, Perry acknowledges, while his aides note that Romney hasn't always had kind words for the state of the program. In his latest book, No Apologies, Romney wrote, "To put it in a nutshell, the American people have been effectively defrauded out of their Social Security."
Yeah, and lied to by the Tea Party. Crap.
He
Propaganda.
suggested increasing the retirement age, adjusting benefits for wealthy Americans, or allowing workers to invest part of their Social Security taxes in private accounts. By the way, that is another place where the lower classes pay more in the Social Security taxes than the wealthy do. Because the wealthy cease to pay any Social Security taxes once they have made $106,800.
Really?
And they never pay any more Social Security taxes on any amount of money they make.
Really?
That's correct.
But they get free retirement and free health care. I mean, we're talking about.
Well, they get Medicare.
Well, they don't even need it. I mean, with
Of course
their
they don't need
high
it.
income. But isn't it funny? They want you to work longer, and they want to increase the retirement age. But meanwhile, congressmen and senators who enjoy a whopping $175,000 a year with free health care and free retirement, they get to retire early. They get to retire early, right?
Yes.
Interesting, but they want you to work till you drop dead. They want you to work until what, 67, 70?
Well, yeah, if they get to raise it, it'll be 67, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then what happens when a company decides to send you to the glue factory
At 50.
at 50? Oh, you have seniority in this company. We're paying you a little bit too much money, or you're getting up in years, and we want to replace you with young meat, fresh out of school. In other words, suckers that will work cheap. That's what that means. And then they lay you
Or
off.
interns that will work for nothing.
Interns, slaves.
Slaves.
Like what Vince McMahon does with the WWE, right? All this shit. So they get rid of you. So you're in your 50s, and they lay you off. Okay, where are you supposed to find a job at that age? Who is going to hire you in America when you're up in years and you get laid off because the company decides that you're making too much money because you have seniority in the company and you're too smart and you're too talented and blah, 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 blah.
I address some of those problems in the new article for Censored called "The Devil's Economics."
There you go. It's coming up. The new volume. I believe it will be
117.
Number 117. The Devil's Economics will be the new newsletter Censored. So get your subscription ahead of time with your gift to support this work. So yeah, these are all things that will happen that the Republican candidates do not tell you. Yes, companies, under Republicans, companies will have the right not only to rob you through deregulation, but they will have the right to just get rid of you anytime they want.
Now they have the right to kill you, too. The
Companies?
BP explosion,
Yeah.
the Massey mines, how about Vioxx, things of this nature. They have the right to kill you today, and maybe they'll get a fine if they get caught.
What
That's it.
about spiking things that you buy in a supermarket, like your drinking water supposedly is spiked? Your spring water, your bottled spring water is spiked.
Well, what do you think is going to happen with GMO foods?
Genetically modified foods?
Yeah, once they're on the market for some time.
They're going to genetically modify you into a bunch of stupid drones that will be hypnotized and brainwashed to do their bidding, and you will be a slave to the corporation. And then before you know it, the computer chip will be put in your head, just like predicted in the end times in the book of Revelation of the Bible.
Mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast. This whole thing about, God bless America and everything, I don't know. The United States is one of the cursed
Well, the mark of the beast will
lost tribes of ancient Israel, the modern day descendants of the lost tribes. How many were there? 10?
10.
Well, the United States is one of them. So,
The mark of the beast, of course, will be instituted by the Holy Roman Empire, not by America.
which will most likely be what, the European Union?
Or the
Or
European Union.
a corrupted version of the European Union, with the Roman Catholic Church behind them,
And Germany at the head.
and Deutschland.
The Assyrians.
Germany, the modern day descendants of the warlike, cruel Assyrians from ancient times. Yes, that's true.
Anyway, Romney continued, Social Security taxes in private accounts. And while he derides Perry for likening Social Security to a criminal fraud that put Bernard Madoff behind bars,
There you go.
Romney has compared lawmakers to dishonest trust fund managers.
Bernard Madoff, the person who made off
With
your life savings.
What would happen to the bankers responsible for misusing the money? They would go to jail. But what has happened to the people responsible for the looming bankruptcy of Social Security? They keep returning to Congress every 2 years, Romney wrote. Those statements offer Perry's team a chance to punch back. In his book, Romney compared Social Security to a fraudulent, criminal enterprise. But during the debate, he ran from his position. His evolving and inconsistent position on this important issue is curious, but unfortunately not unusual, said one of Perry's persons.
Oh boy. I'm trying to, when I have peace and quiet, which is very rare, I'm trying to understand the human psychology behind Americans that are not financially independent, who continue to vote for a conservative Republican. I'm trying to understand why they do it. And all right, even if they're religious nuts and they do it for their crazy religious reasons, I mean, when it comes to survival, the Republicans do not have their best interest at all, unless you're wealthy and you happen to be a selfish, greedy bastard, wealthy elitist. The Republicans do not have your best interest, and people still believe. Even my lawyer agrees with me. They still believe in this lie called trickle-down economics that Reagan used to talk about. Well, I don't recall.
Trickle-down economics does not lift all boats. It just lifts yachts.
Yachts. It should be siphon up economics. Trickle-down economics, which never really worked, wasn't designed to work, is actually siphon up to the elitist economics. Siphon up. And as far as trickle down, it should be called pissle down, because it is the sound of the fat cats pissing on you. And
saying piss on you.
Some people actually enjoy that.
Piss on you.
The S&M society, the sadomasochistic
golden
fetish.
showers.
Yeah, for some reason, the Japanese are into the bodily fluid fetishes.
Well, German porn is not far behind.
Bodily
golden showers.
Bodily fluid fetish.
On golden showers.
Scatman Crothers. Scat movies.
Yeah. Scatman Crothers. Yes. A little closer to home with this article. Okay.
Okay.
Assembly Speaker Sheila Oliver
Okay.
on Wednesday called Governor Christie mentally deranged
I like her already.
and accused him of telling a blatant
I
lie
like her. I like her even more.
about her at a closed-door Colorado retreat organized by wealthy conservative businessmen.
Yeah, what else is new, right?
According to a tape released Wednesday by Mother Jones magazine,
Mother Jones.
Christie told the audience at the event that Oliver asked him to rally support for her among Assembly Republicans to ensure her fellow Democrats could not oust her from the speakership because of her support for cuts to public worker benefits.
She supported that? Shame on you. The Democratic Party should boot you out.
Well, that's
You
what they're looking to do.
you corporate elitist ass-kissing whore. Unbelievable.
She said, I think the only way to survive is if the 33 Republicans in the chamber will agree to vote for me for Speaker.
Screw you, bitch.
Can you work it out?
Fuck you. Sellout. You're a Democrat. You're not supposed to be kissing corporate elitist ass, bitch. Excuse me, but it really gets under my skin when a Democrat or a Dummycrat who, when they campaign, they feel your pain, and they get the vote of the poor and the little guy, and then when they get in, they become elitist corporatists.
Don't go ballistic now, because we don't know if she said it or not.
In other words, it could be Republican lies, rabble-rousing, by who? Christie?
Christie
By
is
big fat obese friggin' balloon boy who has enough fat on him to warm every home of every low-income person if they melted it off his body?
She accused Christie of being mentally deranged and telling a blatant lie. So,
Oh, wait a minute. All of this is the alleged comment made by Miss Oliver or Mrs. Oliver. This is the alleged now. So this all might be a lie coming from balloon boy Chris Crisco Christie trying to stir up trouble.
Correct.
And he's getting fatter, and even my mother notices he's getting fatter by the week.
well, maybe he's getting better meals.
I think all the food that was originally allocated for soup kitchens and food pantries in New Jersey
Going to him now.
is going to him now.
Yeah. Huh.
I think he's got like Homer Simpson. He's got like a huge funnel in his mouth.
my
Where
God.
he just pours all the food for the homeless into his gut.
Oh, that's terrible. Oliver, Democrat, Essex County, fiercely denied this on Wednesday, saying she didn't ask for the governor's help, that the coup was only a rumor anyway, and one that never materialized.
Yeah.
Governor Christie is more mentally deranged than some of us thought, she said.
Could be right.
That's a blatant lie. The leaked recording of Christie's June 26 speech sent ripples through New Jersey political circles. The recording not only showed Christie briefly attended the Colorado retreat, something he did not disclose at the time, but provided a new account of the heated final days in the battle over benefits cuts. That battle divided the state's Democrats when Christie partnered with key Democrats, including Oliver and Senate President Stephen Sweeney, to circumvent that party's majority, which opposed the legislation. Remember, we read about that about a week or two ago, about Sweeney partnering with the governor in selling out workers. In his speech, Christie said Oliver called him before the assembly vote and told him, "I want to post the bill, but I think when I go on the floor, my own party's going to take a run at me to remove me as Speaker." Then Christie said she requested Republican help and asked, "Can you work it out?" The governor then met with Republican Assembly members who were in a closed-door caucus meeting. Christie said he told them, "Probably for the only time in my governorship, I'm going to actually ask you to vote for a Democrat. So if they take a run at her on the floor, I need all of you to vote for her for Speaker." Christie said Republicans were surprised, but the governor insisted keeping Oliver in power was necessary to get the bill passed. Are you with me, or aren't you? Assemblyman John Amodeo, Republican, Atlantic County,
Oh boy.
said Wednesday that Republicans had heard rumors of a coup attempt, but couldn't agree on supporting Oliver until Christie arrived in the caucus room. "The governor woke us up because it was a policy issue." After the meeting, Christie said he told Oliver in a phone call that she had Republican support if a coup occurred. He said she responded, "Well, you just got yourself a bill." A coup never materialized. And Assembly Majority Leader Joseph Cryan, Democrat, Union County, denied.
We're crying over this politics in this country. Yeah.
Denied there ever was one. Oliver said Christie's account was ludicrous stuff. Governor Christie was putting a show on for a room full of billionaire donors. End of story, she said. Christie repeated the details from his speech during a conference Wednesday in Atlantic City. His spokesman, Michael Druniak, later said the governor stands by his account after Oliver disputed it.
Well, do you see people, based on all the articles that you hear on our shows, collectively, that the conservative Republicans are not interested in any compromising or bipartisanship? All they talk about is getting their bills passed, their agenda, their bills. And what do their bills consist of? The fat cats making more and more and more money. Profit, money, business, 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 business.
And hurting the worker and the poor.
And enslaving you. Don't you see? This is really an age-old problem, isn't it, Dr. Bill? This whole cause for this kind of thinking.
Absolutely.
In politics. It's not new. It's the human race is a very wicked, evil, vile creature, and the sins never go away. They're always there, and
human nature.
It's human nature, and these people have no compassion. They're willing to see the lives of poor children and poor adults perish for their greed.
But God forbid you should abort an embryo.
Oh, they love embryos.
Oh, yes,
they love fertilize. It's like Coily from the Three Stooges. They love, it's actually a Brooklyn accent, fertilized egg. They love the fertilized egg. If you conceive and you try to prevent the conception, oh, Republicans don't like that. They don't like, if you try to have compassion for handicapped people or disabled, whatever, paralyzed people with stem cell research, they don't like that either. Any compassion for anybody who's already born and alive, they have no compassion. They have no compassion for the poor baby that's already born.
Not a whit.
But once you're in the womb, they love you.
Oh,
They
yeah.
care about you. They'll fight like hell
They
for
love
you.
the womb.
They love that womb,
Even
that uterus.
though it's somebody else's.
Huh?
They love the womb even though it's somebody else's.
No matter what uterus you're talking about, or ovary, or huevo, egg in the woman there, the Republicans will fight to the last drop of blood for that entity, even though it's not a human being when it's a fertilized egg or an embryo that breathes like a fish. By the way, it's not a person yet, but they think it is. But anyway, they'll fight to the very end for that. But once it's already born, unless you're
Or it's a vet.
or you're a veteran, or if it's a baby of a fat cat elitist, a little socialite baby born with a silver spoon in its mouth, then they care a lot. But if you're poor or a middle class baby, a struggling middle class person, that lost their job and their house is about to be foreclosed, they don't care about you. They don't care about the poor child once they're born. You see the hypocrisy? Why do you people continue to vote for a Republican with all this evidence against them?
Obviously, they don't take into account evidence.
And what about getting
Since
away?
ideology doesn't care about
Yeah.
evidence or facts.
No, ideology doesn't care about facts, science, evidence. Or what about the fact that G.W. Bush and Dick Cheney are really big-time criminals that never got prosecuted? Aren't they guilty of many crimes?
It seems it has been discovered that the reason that they were not prosecuted by the Obama administration was that they were told,
Yes.
they were scared of the fact that there would be a coup if they did that.
You mean people defending the criminal demon G.W. Bush and Dick Cheney? Well, then...
They scared the black man.
The who?
The black man in the White House.
He's scared of repercussions for going after G.W. Bush. Well, then I think the forces of good should get their torches and pitchforks ready to fight the forces of evil in America. How do you like them apples? You know what I'm saying?
It's a possibility. But obviously...
America loves to watch superhero movies, especially like with the new, X-Men First Class that just came out. They love to watch superheroes, but they sit on their ass and watch other people become superheroes in America. But nobody wants to take the role of being a superhero in real life.
Yeah, they're all looking for a savior.
They want some magical entity to come and save them, just like the right-wing fundamentalists treat God and Jesus like Santa Claus. Like a Joel Osteen treats the Lord like Santa Claus. Yeah. Anyway, we got time for maybe 2 more articles.
We'll see here, but we're going to go off the politics for
because
a few.
I'm getting my blood pressure is getting a little high because we've been doing a lot of political stuff and talking. It really is pissing me the fuck off.
Homeowners should take action now to ensure their homes won't be infested this fall with Asian stink bugs.
Asians, do they rub you wrong time? The Asian stink bug? Do you get happy ending?
Hey, American, $10. Love you a long time.
Me rub you wrong time? Me Asian stink bug?
By the way,
there's no happy ending with the Asian stink bug, right?
I've killed 5 of these suckers already.
You know what they look like?
Yes.
What do they look like?
Look at them right here.
Wait a second. All right, listen. Before you read, hold on.
Take a look at
The last time I showed a picture or an article, it was the holy kudzu. But now, all right. Let me know if I'm like close enough and centered enough.
See if you can just come a little closer. Okay, that's
all right.
good.
Should I go to the left?
That's good.
Should I go to the right?
It's okay.
Should I go up?
You got the bug.
Okay. Now, should I come even closer? Is that too close?
Move towards me a little. Down. Perfect.
Okay, that is
Stink bug.
the Asian stink bug. Is it in the beetle family? Does it sing
All I know is it's flat.
I love you, yeah, 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 I want to hold your hand, all those songs? Is it?
It's flat.
And it's flat? It's very flat.
I've killed 5 of them and there was no stink.
Okay,
fortunately.
let me ask you a question. Is this a different beetle like keratin encrusted? Is this different from the Japanese beetle that we know?
I have no idea what
and
is
love?
a beetle. We have to read the article.
It is an Asian stink bug. You see it? You got it?
I got it.
All right. Oh, God. I guess it stinks when you squash it.
When you squash. Some people say like a skunk.
Yeah, you got that something. Da 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 da. It's not a
Anyway,
beetle.
well, we don't know yet.
If you understand.
They are already starting to seek out a place to hibernate for the winter.
To rub you even more wrong time.
The bugs, which are native to China and Japan,
So.
and first showed up in New Jersey in
That
1999,
figures. They always come to stink bug ending up in New Jersey.
have become a serious pest to homeowners and farmers.
Should send them all to Chris Christie's house.
During summer months, they feed on apples,
How do you like them apples?
peaches, corn, and beans.
Melocotone. I love peaches. That's Spanish for peach.
Then, as nights begin to cool,
Yeah.
they start to look for a warm place to sleep through the winter.
As long as they don't try to sneak into our drawers.
Make sure you have good seals around your windows and doors, and caulk any gaps.
Because they will seek warmer temperatures.
Also, address any attic vents that are without screening. A lot end up spending the winter inside walls.
Oh.
Also, remember to keep the garage doors closed. Otherwise, stink bugs will fly in and hibernate in the garage.
Wow.
If the bugs do get inside your home, don't worry too much. When they're inside, they're not breeding or multiplying or feeding or anything. They're just hibernating. They are not disease carriers the way mosquitoes are, and they don't bite. Still, they are a real nuisance. Because if you get large numbers of them in your attic, you can start to smell them.
Oh, really?
I think they smell like green leaf when crushed, but others describe it more like a skunk smell.
I think what you should do is go to your local pet shop, whether it be Petco, PetSmart, and they're very inexpensive. For those of you that have that often get insects in the home, like for those of you that live in the ghetto and have a cockroach problem in your building, I guess the cockroach problem can be really in any apartment building, not just the ghetto, right? I suggest you acquire 1 or 2 baby, they're called house geckos. It is a gecko. It is very inexpensive. It is a house. It's called a house gecko. No, it does not start dancing to old house music or anything like that. But
Does it sell insurance? Car
no,
insurance?
it's nothing to do with real estate industry. A house
Does it
gecko.
speak with an Australian accent?
No, not like that stupid bullshit Geico commercial, where you do not necessarily save the most money. By the way, it's from Southeast Asia. They get decent size, but not too big, and they will gobble up your roaches and your other insects. They are insect eaters, and I guess when the winter comes, they will kind of hang out in the warmest parts of your house, and they'll eat up the insects. House geckos.
What if you step on them?
You won't. They're too fast. They're very alert geckos. They're nocturnal, so chances are they'll be sleeping somewhere.
When you're sleepwalking.
No, they'll get out of your way. They have vertical pupils. They're nocturnal. They could see you. They'll get out of your way. You're not going to squash them. Believe me, they're fast. They have the pads on the toes, and they'll eat up your roaches. And you know, they might make little squeaky, barky sounds when they get older. You know, so what? You know, who cares? So anyway,
Still, they are a real nuisance because if you get large numbers in the attic, they stink. Okay. There are several ways to get rid of the bugs inside a home.
yeah.
Simply vacuum them up, dead or alive, using a small dustbuster type device rather than a large vacuum.
Yeah.
Because if they get sucked into the machine and ground up by the propeller, they can smell.
Yeah, and play the Bon Jovi song "Dead or Alive." I think.
Also, you can make a very simple trap out of a small LED light, an empty plastic soda bottle, and some tape.
Oh,
The
really?
neck of the bottle gets cut off.
Plastic.
The light goes into the bottom of the bottle to attract the bugs.
Yeah.
And the cut off neck then gets inverted and reinserted into the newly enlarged opening at the top of the bottle.
To form a funnel, or you could just
So
get
they
it,
go in, they can't go out.
or you can just go to a dollar store and get a cheap plastic funnel. Because it's the funnel. Well, the opening has to be big enough for them to enter
Yeah.
the bottle. For some
They're
reasons,
about that big.
creatures can enter a funnel, but they can never find their way. Like if you ever look at crab traps and lobster
Lobster.
traps, they all have this funnel entry, okay, where the pointy part is facing inward. For some reason, creatures can't come back out. Anyway, you secure this funnel entry. There's a light inside. What if you put the bottle up against a night light? That might help, right?
You can go to YouTube and watch a video concerning making the trap. It's called Best Stink Bug Trap Ever.
How do you bait them? What do they like to eat?
You don't light them. It's the light.
That's
Obviously,
it?
they're attracted to the light.
You don't have to bait these suckers?
That's what it looks like.
Son of a gun, really?
There's another option.
Wow.
If you see a bug crawling up a wall, fill a cup of water and a small amount of dishwashing liquid. Place the cup just under the bug, because they have a tendency to drop straight down when they sense danger. They will fall into the cup. It's also said that using insecticide to rid a house of stink bugs is not very helpful.
So in other words, the water with a little dash of dish detergent is a natural homemade insecticide.
You come up under the bug, he gets scared, he drops right down into the
Okay,
water.
what if you put a large jar with the soapy water about halfway down? What if you put it right up against a night light in the house, and the night light will attract the bugs, and they will try to take a drink, and then they'll, oops, I'm in soapy water, and die and drown. That's a possibility.
Maybe. Prevention is the key. Asian stink bugs, also called brown marmorated stink bugs, pose a more serious menace to farmers.
The fans.
Over the past few seasons in mid-Atlantic states from New Jersey to Virginia, stink bugs have caused serious problems for growers, especially organic growers. The bugs will feed on tree fruit, bush berries, and vegetables, including corn and soybean.
Here you go. Put a piece of apple in the
Trap.
in the trap with the funnel. You know, the plastic. Like a 2-liter soda bottle. You know, an empty 2-liter plastic bottle. Yeah, put a piece of fruit in there, man.
Last year was disastrous in the mid-Atlantic area. It was the first year where stink bugs were noticeable as an aggressive pest on a commercial scale. As an emergency relief message, the measure The Federal Environmental Protection Agency has
Right.
approved use of the insecticide dinotefuran
Dino.
on tree fruit.
Isn't that Fred Flintstone's pet dinosaur?
Dino. Yeah.
Dino.
To deal with these stink bugs. Rutgers has been working on ways for growers to combat stink bugs. It is said they should have some solutions for growers by next spring. Big deal.
Maybe Republicans attract the most stink bugs in New Jersey.
This is a
Chris
classic.
Christie supporters.
I think when you hug a Republican, you squeeze him, he stinks like a stink bug.
There you go.
This is a classic ecological release situation. They get to a new area, and there are none of the things that normally keep them in check, so they keep expanding their range. In Asia, there are several tiny parasitic wasps that attack stink bug eggs.
Well, wasps are very predatory carnivores,
In addition,
right?
some flies
Like
lay
spiders.
their eggs on the adult stink bugs. The young then feed on and kill the bugs.
I hear one of my favorite, probably my favorite insect, the praying mantis, is originally from China. It's an Asiatic import.
Some parasitic wasps here do attack stink bug eggs, but they only seem to kill about 10% of the eggs. A U.S. Department of Agriculture lab in Delaware has imported possible predators of the stink bug. But before they are cleared for release, researchers need to make sure they don't cause other unintended damage. So for this reason, there seem to be fewer stink bug sightings, so the infestations of homes that many people experienced last fall might not be so severe this time around, at least in North Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, as I said, I've already killed 5, and who the hell knows how many more are around here. They usually end up crawling on air.
You mean personally?
plant.
Personally, you have dispatched five
Five of them,
five
yes.
Asian stink bugs.
Yes.
Well,
Not with one blow.
why don't you try? I noticed you have a 2-liter bottle.
I'm not going to make no stink bug trap.
What are you going to do? Chase these suckers around the house?
Well,
Around the
I
newsletter
don't
censored?
see any more. I haven't seen any more.
You're not going to make a trap?
I don't see any
Well, how
more.
much trouble? How much trouble would it be, man? You just, I don't know. Whatever.
I'd have to take
Whatever.
the time away from other things
Oh.
to make a trap.
You know, Esmeralda said, you know that it's made by Bell and Howell Company. It's ultrasonic and electromagnetic insect repeller that you you plug
it in.
You plug it in, and then it works through the wiring of the home, and it's supposed to drive insects crazy, and including mice or whatever, and make them take off. Well, she tried it in her house in on the marina, on the water in Cartagena, Colombia, and guess what?
It attracted more bugs.
No, it's. Let's put it this way. I tried it out up here in New Jersey, and there must have been a couple spiders a few feet from it, and they just partied, man. They didn't take off. And the Bell and Howell Company, and this is how corporate America, this is how they respond to customer complaints. This is what they think of you, the consumer. Bell and Howell told me on the phone, well, we get mostly nothing but all compliments from our customers. You're like really the first person to complain about this device. First of all, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think the main office was in the Midwest somewhere. I don't know. Maybe Ohio. First of all, if I saw spiders not take off from by being several feet from this device, then I am sure there are multitudes of other customers who experience the same thing. So, but they tell you, instead of telling you, oh, we apologize profusely, our researchers are going to look into this. No, they tell you, oh, everybody loves us, you must be wrong. So right away, the attitude today.
I have a yellow bug light outside.
Yeah.
Every night, a spider builds a web there. Obviously, if he's building a web there,
He's catching food.
he's catching food,
And if he's catching food,
which means bugs are coming to that light.
so if it's, in other words, wait. The bug light you have is the compact fluorescent yellow
Bug light.
bug light, because for some reason insects are not drawn or cannot see yellow light, unless maybe in the end times all pestilence, like animals are acting weird now. Wild animals are coming into human populated areas.
You know,
Coyotes, wild turkey, black bear.
Speaking of wild
I'm talking
animals,
about New Jersey. Yeah.
I saw a disturbing video the other day on the news.
Yeah.
The floods in Wilkes-Barre, PA,
Okay.
which is not far from where I was born, by the way.
Is it in the Pocono region? Is
No,
it?
no,
Well,
it's further inland. However,
Yeah.
the floods were so bad
uh-huh.
that in the zoo, 2 water buffalo had to be killed because the water was rising and they were drowning.
And they couldn't rescue them.
Couldn't rescue them.
Yeah, yes. Despite their name, water buffalo are air-breathing mammals. They do not have gills. They do not swim like fish.
They are not amphibians.
They are not amphibious that will breathe through their skin magically. They, poor things, had to be euthanized because they would have drowned.
Yep, the water was rising that high.
Well, I was never a
The
big
Susquehanna River.
the Susquehanna River. I was never a big fan of zoos. I think it's cruel. I think wild animals should remain in the wild, and we should admire them on documentaries taken by nature photographers
And also,
video. Yeah.
today I was reading in a paper, I don't know what zoo it was, but in a zoo, the partner of I believe it was a lion, it could have been a tiger, it killed him. It killed her partner.
You're talking about the male and female? That really?
Just hours before that, they were playing nice together.
That's weird. Well, these animals are in a form of prison.
Maybe she found out he had a mistress or something.
They are in prison, man. I saw a condor here at the Bergen County Zoo, Van Saun Park, Paramus, New Jersey. They had either an Andean or a California condor. The poor thing could not fly anywhere. It's in an enclosure where it can only open its wingspan, but it could only hop around. It couldn't fly. And that's cruel, man. This animal should be in the wild. You know, I mean, now talking about the recent floods, I don't know how the building contractors originally got the permit to build homes near a river in a flood zone, because these poor people cannot sell their homes. Naturally, they cannot sell their homes because nobody in their right mind would buy the homes in a flood zone. So they have to deal with it. I would think a houseboat near a river would be more, would make more sense, but, because then the houseboat would be like a trailer or mobile home. It'll start to float. It'll start to rise when the river crests. But no, they build regular houses. They get damaged and flooded. I wonder what politicians locally got paid off to build homes next to the Passaic River in towns like Wayne, New Jersey. I wonder.
Wayne and Little Falls.
Little Falls. I wonder who got their palms greased, because these people naturally cannot sell their homes.
Nope.
Naturally. Anyway, thank you for joining us for
Progressive discussions.
For the progressive discussions, possibly number 85, and it was very invigorating, to say the least. And most likely, the words Say No to the Fat Cats and Tax the Rich would be our title. I'm looking forward to October 1st when I do color commentary for D2W Wrestling on Time Warner Cable, God willing. So, take care. Say so long.
So long.